Welcome back to Initiating Insight with Sibongile. Today I am sitting with my namesake, Sibongile Mufuzi, and we are talking about the preacher's wife. Before we went on a break, I had asked her a question as she shared with us that, she had this impression one morning to get up after all her frustrations, to get up and actually help other preachers' wives, perhaps if they come together. They share the same sentiments because, you cannot trust anyone in the church who is not a preacher's wife, because you need to be careful of things like that. So I was asking a question if she's not being presumptuous to think that they cannot trust anyone other than a preacher's wife.
Yeah. So the reality is that...
at least that one person. There can be that one person who can be trustworthy. Because it's for me, it's debatable. Even those preachers' wives, you're dealing with a human aspect here that can falter at any time.
Yes.
That can get into all these temptations.
Correct.
And perhaps this preacher's wife feels, goodness, they make a very good couple. So now I'm jealous because, maybe that one loves her more than my husband shows the affection. So those are things that I'm talking about. So I don't want us to be then caught in this box and say that you cannot trust people whom you're supposedly leading.
Yeah. So when you're a new preacher's wife like myself, you really have to be very careful. Yes, there are trustworthy people out there. I think one of the things that I had to overcome was being cynical and questioning people's motives, and also not being comfortable with people, because I'm one person that I'm very open.
Okay.
So
you wear your heart on the sleeve.
Yeah. So my husband once told me that, look, you don't choose your relatives, but you choose your friends. So choose wisely. And that's all he said. And I realized that, look, in order for me not to compromise the church and not to compromise everybody, I need to be very careful who I talk to about confidential matters and, frustrations that I could be going through, because you don't want to corrupt the members of the church and start making them feel like, there's something wrong with the church. So you'd rather talk to someone that is not part of the church, that could be going through the same thing somewhere, and they'll help. It will help.
At least avoid the biases and the lack of objectivity and things like that. I understand.
Yes.
Okay. When you are a preacher's wife, what? So he preaches on Sunday. Okay, let's start here. Does it make you automatically a preacher when you're a preacher's wife? Because I see sometimes some couples, the man is the one that's called into the ministry, and then they get married, and by default this woman now preaches as well.
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
I cannot confidently tell you that you automatically become a preacher just because you're married to a preacher.
Yes.
There's no biblical reference to that. For instance, with me, I know that I was called into ministry way back,
Okay.
About 3 days after I got baptized, I knew that I wanted to be in ministry. One passionate person about God. I love God. I want to live for God.
What do you want to do in ministry, though? What is your ministry?
My ministry is to reach out to people and to help people to see the love of God, help people, to rebuild people's hopes and dreams,
Is that through the form of preaching?
It could be
on the
through
pulpit, for that matter.
No, not at all. So, when I got married to my husband, I knew that he is the one that was called into the ministry of preaching, into the ministry of, pulpit and stuff like that. I was never convinced that I was one to be on the same level with him in terms of preaching. But I know that I have got gifts and talents that God gave me in order to reach out to people that he wants to be in the church and to have a relationship with him. So I cannot tell you that I am called to be a preacher just because I'm a preacher's wife. I'm called to serve alongside him as a preacher, to support him, and to continue in the ministry which God has chosen for me, you know.
What are some of the things that irritate you as the wife?
When, look, I don't know if it's, I don't even know what to call it. You know, when people start wanting to put you on pedestals just because you're a preacher's wife. When people want to act like they have to say the right things around you. You know, when people don't treat you like you're a human being with flaws and stuff like that, it puts me so much under pressure, and I don't like it. I want to be treated like a normal person that makes mistakes. I want to laugh out loud sometimes. But people have these expectations that you must carry yourself a certain way.
So how do you deal with that? Do you, because maybe you are the one who's feeding the people that
could be
that suggestion to begin with. So maybe they are just responding to what you're feeding them. But how do you deal with that?
So it's the reason we are having this ministry, Preacher's Wives Ministry. The ministry is to equip the wives of preachers in how to deal with this kind of things, this kind of expectations. So because I'm new in the game, like only 2 years in the making, I am still finding it difficult. You know, I'm still finding it, I don't know how to respond to certain treatments. You know, you find some people are just out there, you know, they just want to treat you a certain way because you're a preacher's wife, good or bad. Some people will be cynical and just want to cut you down to size.
Some people would be nasty because they can be.
Yeah, and then you find those that just want to go with the flow. They don't want to be involved in, you know, anything that is not their business. So I'm in the process of learning how to navigate around different characters, things that are being put, you know.
Does it overwhelm you? Does it overwhelm you that suddenly you have to take care of these people that that have been strangers all your life? Suddenly they are here, and you have to meet up to expectation.
Yeah, it can be taxing emotionally, because I mean, I'm still learning to be a wife. I'm a new wife, and I'm still learning how to do things as a wife, how to, you know, I'm still in a transition basically. And then now I have to take care of other people that I didn't sign. It felt like God has just put me in a position where He didn't even prepare me, and these people are expecting things from their preacher's wife, you know, to meet their expectations. So I don't mind. It's not like I mind. It's just that I'm not equipped. I'm not empowered to give in that manner towards other people. So this is where the ministry comes in, you know, to equip, empower, and edify.
We need to take a break, my darling. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned. Don't go away. Welcome back to Initiating Insight with Sibongile. I am sitting with Sibongile Mufuzi, and we are talking about the preacher's wife. So, what I want to know is that you're saying you're new in this, and and you're forming this group to equip other preachers' wives. Are you with older preachers' wives or just the young ones?
We do have older preachers' wives who have been married 20 years. And I remember this mother telling me that, hey, my child, you're in trouble. Marrying a preacher is no child's play. And we also have middle-aged preachers' wives, and we also want to have aspiring preachers' wives, because we do have young people who are just passionate about God and who just want to be with men that are passionate and serious about God. So we also want.
So these women will just marry a preacher, as long as it's a preacher. Just want to marry him. Doesn't matter what he comes with, as long as
Look, for me, I used to tell God that I wanted a man of God. I wanted a man that's serious about. I didn't want a church goer. I was not even negotiating with God. I was like, God, if it's not...
But this man didn't necessarily have to be a preacher.
No. I wish that I had prayed about it. Maybe God would have prepared me for the role. But I just wanted a God-fearing man who's serious and passionate about God. I didn't know that he'll come in the form of a preacher, you know.
But you knew that this man was a preacher, right? So did you meet today and got married the next day?
Our marriage almost happened overnight. So we met.
All right.
And within a couple of months, he paid lobola. In less than 9 months, we were married. So, I mean, I knew I was getting married. I was ready emotionally, physically, and mentally. I was ready for marriage. It's being a preacher's wife that I was not ready for.
So in the 9 months, you didn't know he was a preacher?
Well, I knew. I mean, he had me at a sermon. When we met, actually, he didn't meet me that day. I saw him when he was preaching, and I just knew that that was my, that was my husband.
Okay.
So, but then
Sukaman, you asked for it. Don't come here and moan and throw tantrums here and be sulking to God and be angry.
Oh.
Okay, let me leave that nonsense. Okay, Sanosam. You know, when don't you feel at times that you can just, do you think it's wrong, it will be wrong for you as a preacher's wife to say, Habi, please take care of your people. Mina, I want nothing to do with it. Mina, I'll take care of you here at home. The church is yours, and I've got nothing to do with it.
Actually, during my morning time, I was telling him, I'd complain a lot to him. I was telling him that I think I just want to
He probably must have regretted, where was I taking this guy? Yeah,
I was really nagging him. So I said, look, my love, I think that I will find another place of worship. You know, you'll go to your people and I'll go to another church. And so my husband would not entertain my mourning and complaining. He understood that I was just in a state of shock. So he would just listen, and he prayed for me. We prayed together until God dealt with it himself, you know, after 2 months of going through that.
But hypothetically speaking, now what that we're talking about, do you think it would be wrong for someone to do that? To say they don't necessarily have to find another place of worship. They can still worship in the same church as the preacher. But just to say, I will not take responsibility for anything. If people call and say, oh, please hold on, here he is.
Yeah.
I don't want to get involved. Does it sound even far-fetched?
No, actually, there are preachers' wives that are choosing not to be involved in any of the church affairs.
Okay.
Because they feel like it is not their
calling
to be involved like that. They're just there for their husbands. You know, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's the reason why we want women to come together through this ministry, so that we can talk about these things and say, you don't have to feel bad if you're not ready. I mean, what's the point of doing things that you don't want to do and just doing them out of malicious compliance, you know? So,
and because you are socialized like that, you know, if you're married to a preacher's wife, so it's your yoke too.
Yeah.
So, Shem, it's not anyone's fault other than the fact that, you know, we are socialized like that.
Yeah.
One of the things that I find, and I'm asking you because you declared so many times now that you're still young in this, do not take the people for granted. This is one of the things that irritate me about preachers' wives. They begin. There was one preacher's wife that I understand has become a preacher herself. You know, we would talk, and she would say to me, I would say, this person, she would say to me, don't tell me about abantu. Yo mina ngiyamazi umuntu Sibongile, ungangitsheli ngomuntu. And I found that to be arrogant, because you can never say that you know a person.
No.
Not even your husband, for that matter. And you say, I fully know this person. You can never tell me about them. You know, so those are the traps that you must look out for.
Thank you.
From a non-preacher, just a presenter of Initiating Insight. It's 2 cents worth to a preacher's wife. I can, you know I'm jajarach. You know I'm jajarach. But I mean, I'm sharing my experience, because I found that you're taking things for granted. And these people have not come here for you, really. They've come for God and the person who's supposed to be leading them to God.
Yes. And I mean, we are not in the business of fixing people. Therefore, we cannot write people off and say, I know this person, I'm done with this person. That's not our business. Our business is to love them the same way we want to be loved. If you expect them to respect you, you respect them, regardless of age, the roles, the titles and positions they hold. That's my view. People must be respected. It's standard.
Do you not feel, though, that you Because your position is a contradiction like everybody else. I usually say this, that as human beings we carry contradictions about ourselves. I'm not saying we're contradicting ourselves. I always have to qualify this thing because some people think I'm saying we contradict ourselves. No, I'm saying we carry contradictions about ourselves. So while you have these irritations at times, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, you have these irritations at times. Don't you sometimes feel that you actually appreciate the attention? You feel like you're the center of attraction sometimes? And it makes you feel good, and not in a bad way, not in a contentious way, not in an arrogant way, but just don't you feel like a queen that you have these people around me when I go, I must show?
I wish I could get to a level where I feel like that, but right now it kind of makes me a little bit insecure because I don't know what is expected next, and I don't know, sometimes it's the same people that want to give you all the attention and the love that can break you.
And those people, you think they might want to take your husband?
Not really.
Okay, we need to close. We must go now. Our time is up.
Okay.
Our time is up. Thank you for having joined us, Nay.
That's
Good luck with your ministry and yeah, do your best.
Thank you very much,
Do your
Sibo,
best.
and thank you for having me.
Yes, do your best. That's all the time we had for today. Until next time, please join us on Initiating Insight, Sibongile Mlangeni Initiating Insight, Instagram Sibongile_Mlangeni, Twitter @Sibongile M06, our YouTube channel Sibongile Evelyn Mlangeni. Until next time, take care.